For me, Magic Johnson is the best player of all time.
Right.
It's always debatable.
Yeah.
Can't you know?
But who's gonna argue? He's top 5.
Then you know you got Jordan. Steph Curry, if he was playing in the 80s or 90s, he would be a 6 man, if that.
Yes.
But he's an MVP, back-to-back MVP in this era.
Mm-hmm.
My question to you is this era better and more exciting, or is my generation, I'm gonna go with my generation, the 80 and 90, which I think was the golden age of basketball. Like you won't get the players in the competition that happens during that time
team
will
balance.
never happen again.
Yes. Yes.
So I feel like I grew up in the golden age of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But people are talking about Steph Curry, like he is a transcendent, like he is somebody that can play in another era, and I don't think he is. I don't think he will be that good in a different era. Where I can say Michael Jordan will still be the greatest player of all time if he played in this era. Magic Johnson will still be the greatest player in my mind of all time if he played in this era. Larry Bird would still be the best small forward to ever play the game if he played in this era. Steph Curry would be a 6 or 7 man if he played in the 80s and 90s. So if the best player in the NBA is a 6 or 7 man in the 80s and 90s, how is this era better than that era?
Well, first, this era is not better.
Thank you.
All right. And the reason, the way free agency and everything is now, when you're building teams and all this collusion and all these kind of things, I think we have players today that are equivalent to the players in Jordan's era.
No.
This is what I mean by that. LeBron can be comparable to Magic. I didn't say he was better than Magic.
No.
Similar games. He's going to be one of the top 5-7 players that ever played the game. All right. Durant is a scorer. Reminds me of Iceman and other players who could put the ball on the rock. I think they were more better players then than this era. The reason I said
this is more complete players.
More complete because one, you got players coming out early and they're not mature. I told you about Isaiah coming out of Indiana as a sophomore, but he had a mature game. He stepped into the game and was damn near an all-star. He was getting it in.
Absolutely.
Here's the Curry could play in any generation because he can shoot. Here is where Curry runs into a problem in a different generation.
Okay.
Curry essentially is playing a 2-guard. You know, he's listed as the point guard.
Yes.
He's really playing a 2 because he's not breaking you down. He's not breaking the team players down. Assists.
He's not running plays.
He's not running plays.
Calling plays.
He's not calling sets, feeding into the post. It's, hey, I got the ball. I'm doing some, I'm gonna shake you up a little bit. Either score or I'm passing by, make a cut. Here I'm coming off the screen, pick, boom. Here I am. He's not running a team.
Right.
If he played in a different era, he can't play 2-guard, Jordan, Clyde Drexler, all these players. Too short, I'm beating you down.
Weak.
If he plays point, you're forced to check Isaiah Stockton. Guys who are going to make you actually play point guard. I think he can evolve into a point guard. I think if he was if he played in the previous generation, I don't think he would be playing the same game he's playing now. Because he has handles.
But that's his handle.
Yeah, but he's still going to score. He's not going to score 35, 50 in that era.
He may not score 20.
Not with hand checking,
right.
me putting you on your ass.
Right.
Now he's going to hit the 50, but when you're a shooter, you can always shoot. His dad was about the same size, played, he was 6 man, but he didn't have the handles to create his own shot.
He was a set shooter.
So Curry can play in that generation. The question I have is could Curry make the dynamic change to his game to be a true point guard? That tells you whether he's going to play in the era and be successful.
I think
he can. I just don't think he'd be that prolific scorer because you're not going to have that opportunity in that era.
I mean, there's 3 people right now that can play in that era. Dwayne Wade. Just because Dwayne Wade,
he fits that style.
He fits that, and he's old now.
Yeah.
He's not really old, but he's old.
Yeah.
When he was Flash.
Yeah.
One of the most athletic dudes in the NBA.
Yeah, he fits that.
Yeah. LeBron because of his size.
Size and his all-around game. He fits that.
And Kevin Durant because he can score.
Oh, without a doubt.
And probably Carmelo because of his size too. But I don't know how good he would be, but I think he could play there.
He could play there.
Yeah. If we're talking about people like we're talking about.
Chris Paul could play in that era.
Absolutely, I missed him. I'm sorry, Chris Paul. You could be a starting point guard in that era.
Yeah, if I go down, let's just go down teams. As we got on this, Golden State. I think Curry. He just had to change his game. Duncan came out of that era, so to speak. Kawhi Leonard could play in that era.
Yeah.
Durant could play in that era.
Westbrook could play in that era because he's aggressive and he's fearless. You gotta have that.
He can play in that era, but what scares me is the same thing that scares me with Curry. In that era, you have to play point.
Yeah.
In this era, you don't have to be a traditional point guard. In that era, because it's not about, and you can say, well, the game evolves. No, it's just that everybody's shooting jump shots. There's no defense.
Right.
The pick and roll and travel is even worse than it is now.
Oh, my goodness.
And we can't touch you.
Right.
In that era, you're going to get touched. You got to be complete players on both sides of the ball, which Russell is. What concerns me at Russell and Curry is, can they make that dynamic change and be a true point guard in that era? Yeah. I think they can.
Yeah.
I think they can.
I'm going to go with Russell. I'll give you Russell.
Memphis, who could play?
Only because it's
the Gasol brother could play there.
Old school, because he's
old school.
He plays above. He plays below the rim.
Randolph could play there. Portland, nah.
What about Lillard? You're right.
Watch Lillard when it comes to playoffs. Just watch when it comes to playoffs.
He kind of reminds me of Isaiah.
But Isaiah was a mean beast. Defensively,
agreed.
And he was a beast offensively, where he would get in your face and your chest.
Yeah.
Watch the playoffs with Lillard.
Okay.
I told you that last year. Yeah. You saw he choked. I hope he makes that jump. Lewinsky can play in Dallas.
Because he's 7 foot shooting jump shots.
Yeah, but we're talking about LeBron. Kyrie could get it in that era, dude. He just had to bring his defense.
That's why he couldn't get it in that era, dude.
but I can put him in the era, put him on a mediocre or bad team.
You gonna put him on Dallas?
I can put him on Denver Nuggets. They were running gunning.
Yeah, okay.
I can put him in Golden State with Tim Hardaway. Well, Tim Hardaway's there, so he can't play with him. Toronto and Boston. We're talking about Wade. Atlanta.
No.
I think Horford could be a 4 because Horford is okay with just rebounding and playing. Horford could be a role player in that era.
And he'd be okay with that.
Noah could be a role player in that era. Joaquin.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
Because he's an old school. He plays old school.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah.
George.
I like his.
He could play in that era. Butler could play in that era.
Absolutely.